When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk.
It's now 11 o'clock. It's now time for Make We Talk Tuesdays.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wherever you're listening, watching from around the world in the Eastern Caribbean, this is Make We Talk. I am Jeffrey Tavares, your host. They dubbed me as the Poor People Defender. I have with me this morning my good friend, attorney at law, retired FBI agent Wilfred Radigan, the man who's suing Camellia Johnson Smith. And until now, she can't tell the people of Jamaica who gave her 900 and something thousand US, Will? Unmute your mic for me.
The mic on mute, man. You can't hear me.
I can hear you now. All Waterhouse hearing you.
Yeah, 99,000 US dollars.
99,000 US dollars. That could help build or buy some hospital bed for KPH and the Sablomore Hospital. So many things happening in Jamaica at 12 o'clock today, at 11 o'clock today rather, any time now. The People's National Party should be having a press conference. And they're going to speak about the recent poll. A lot of Jamaicans are saying that the People's National Party not going anywhere. But that's the only hope and the best hope for Jamaica. Mr. Rattigan, you and I was privy to be on a Zoom meeting with the Jamaican ambassador to Washington, Audrey Marks, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the goodly lady Camellia Johnson Smith, and Jamaica's world-class Minister of Finance, Dr. Nigel Clark, who continue lying to the people of Jamaica and the diaspora that the FBI is inside Jamaica investigating the SSL saga. Mr. Rattigan, your views on what Miss Camellia Johnson Smith answer was when I asked her the question. When I asked her the question, Wilfred Rattigan. Welcome back to Make We Talk, Will.
Good morning to, let me turn this off. Yeah, good morning to you and your viewing, listening audience. Regarding her answer, let me just have people know that they can pull up, where is it? Pull up a report done by the International Enforcement Law Reporter. And let me just repeat the name of that journal. International Enforcement Law Reporting.
Yes.
That's a journal that's put out by a respectable, very qualified and knowledgeable lawyer out of Washington, D.C. Works for one of the top law firms in D.C. I actually met with the man last week. And if you go to that report, that journal, the June journal of 2023, and if you go to page, where is it? Page 269.
No, 266.
266, 266, 267, I think, or 268.
Right.
But it starts at 266. You should go there and read what they have chronicled about our distinguished, and I use that word distinguished in quotation marks, Foreign Affairs Minister. It's an indictment of the things that she's done and the things that she has not done. In any event, to answer your question, she said that when you asked the question about who got the gift, essentially that's what the question was.
Right.
Because she said she in her affidavit, I know people keep in mind, we're not guessing here, we're not speculating. We're just telling you what the minister herself wrote down in her sworn statement. She said she did not get a gift. No, just to recap, private individuals and corporations in Jamaica provided $99,000 to a company called Fin Partners in the US to provide consulting services to the minister when she was running for the position of Secretary General of the Commonwealth last year. Last year between April and June. And we now know, because we were assuming that it was maybe a government gift, but it doesn't matter whether it's a government gift or it's a gift to a government official, it has to be reported. Now, but we know now, because we have a letter from the Jamaican cabinet saying that, because if it's a government gift, it should have gone through the cabinet and approved by the cabinet. We have a letter from the cabinet saying they don't know anything about that. They never approved any gift of that sort. And then in her signed sworn statement, the minister said that no, the gift wasn't sent to the Jamaican government directly, she said.
Hold on there for me, Wilfred Rattigan, because I am being told something here that we'll be live on WZPP at 1 p.m. US time. Okay? So I am being told by some people, you need to hold your horses, because they want the diaspora to hear more. Because we brought, where I am now, we're going to broadcast there at 1 p.m. We're not on it right now on Roots FM. So we're going to broadcast at 1 p.m. on WZOP 92 FM and 96.1, WZPP 92 FM, and WHOT 1590, and WVROP 105.3. We're going to broadcast there at 1 p.m. Wilfred Rattigan. So you hold your hands about Camilla Johnson Smith there, because people want us to talk some more about her, that the members of the diaspora can hear.
All right.
Listen to me. Something was brought to my attention. You're attorney at law. Something was brought to my attention last night that a well-known school in Jamaica, and I will call name, and I'm make something clear this morning. The views expressed on the Mekwi Talk program are not necessarily the views of Roots 96.1 FM. The views is Jeffrey Tavares' views. So no come over me. It was given to me last night. It is all over the newspaper that a male teacher of the Statius Golden High School in Jamaica sexually assaulted a teacher. He's dragged before the courts. And guess what, Wilfred Rattigan? The teacher is still teaching.
The teacher did what?
A male teacher sexually assaulted a female teacher. All right? He was locked up, and he went before the court, and the court put off. And the principal of the school, of the Statius Golden High School, the school is named after a former prime minister's family. The male teacher is still teaching.
Well, look, everybody is afforded the presumption of innocence. Even when they're caught with their hand in the cookie jar, there's still a presumption of innocence until proven guilty by a jury or a judge. So that's the first thing. But you have to balance that with common sense. The other question is the female teacher, is she still teaching as well?
She's so scared to. I was told. I'm gonna send you something you can read it also in the meantime.
Yeah, well,
it was over the newspaper.
I mean, good sense would have dictated that because of the allegation and what's going on, that they could probably, or generally speaking, they would suspend him with pay. They would just say, look, we can't suspend you without pay, because it's just an allegation. It might not be true because we don't know. And I mean, she says she's claiming rape. It might have been consensual, or it might not. There might have never been
No,
sexual relation.
based on what I'm hearing, Wilfred Rattigan, based on what I'm hearing, I can't go deep in it because it's before the court. So we have to tread very carefully. You being in a church, a well-known counsel. I only come from the family of counsels, and anyway, Jeffrey, shut your mouth. We can't say certain things.
No, but what we but
Go ahead.
but what we can say is this: if somebody told you, right, about something that happened between some other people, that's hearsay. And so all we can say is that
if for instance saying that you hate from the horse's mouth, is that still hearsay?
yeah, because they're telling you you're not privy to what actually took place.
Right,
I mean,
but
you're not an eyewitness, right? Somebody is telling you what happened to them with somebody else, right? So you're hearing one side of the story. We don't know about the other side. It could have been a consensual sexual relationship that just went sour. It could have been rape, or it could have been no sexual assault whatsoever. She just make it up. We don't know. So that's why what we have to do is we have to give him not give him. He's entitled to the presumption of innocence. But I understand what you're saying because this allegation has been made. If I were the headmaster, I would say, listen, you know what? Don't come to school until we can resolve this. But here's another problem. There's a shortage of teachers in Jamaica, and this male teacher might have been a very good teacher. I don't know. He may be a very good teacher. And so they're thinking, well, if we get rid of him now, what are we going to do with the classes that he's teaching? I mean, now we're going to have other people switching over to come and assist. We don't know. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but common sense would have said that based on what's going on, because there's an allegation of
because it came out in the paper at 5 p.m. I send you the thing, Mr. Rattigan. Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. It was in the paper. A St. Catherine male teacher accused of sexually assaulting a female colleague.
Yeah.
I am given some paper here because it was in a taxi. It was in a taxi. And I got it through somebody who was in the taxi. And doing my investigation, I am being told also that the school have been covering up some things. The same principal of the school cover up a battery. I said, then Carly, when students, 3 male students along with the female students go do so.
Yeah, but again,
that's allegations again.
Yeah, you have to test that person's
Credibility.
You have to test what they saw, what they heard, and all of that, because people make up stories sometimes, or sometimes people genuinely believe that they saw an event and I said really go. Yeah, I know said go. So we have to give the male teacher is and you always talk about fundamental rights, right? And one of them is that you have a right of innocence until proven guilty. But it would make sense that, and I see where the judge says that he should stay away from the female complainant.
Right.
Yeah. So, but how do you do that when both of them have to show up and teach at the same school? I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm saying if I were the headmaster or the headmaster, I would say to that person, listen, this is a problem, and I would ask her, do you want to come to school and teach? And if she says yes, she wants to come and teach, and I would tell him to stay away, and then you'd have to pay him for staying away. But you couldn't have both of them teaching at the same school at the same time. Maybe you want to maybe what they should do is try and transfer the gentleman to another school in not too far away from home, so that you don't make it a hardship for him. But you can't have both of them in the same school teaching at the same time. You can't have that. So I don't know. They may have spoken, for all we know, they may have spoken to the female teacher, and she said, "No, I'm distraught. emotional about the whole thing. I just need to take some time off, and so I'll stay home. Maybe she's getting paid to stay home, you know,
Okay.
as she should, if that's the allegation that he raped her. And then
Right.
they figure, well, you know, instead of having both of them out, she wants to take time off. Let's just bring him in and just let him continue to teach. But it's a disruption to the classroom, though, because
But if the students hear about something like that, Mr. Rattigan, don't you think that's, they're gonna say XQYZ?
that's what I'm saying. It's a disruption to the classroom to have him there teaching. But what you going to do? You don't have enough teachers in Jamaica anyway. So now you have to wait and say, well, do I just leave him out of this because of the disruption to the classroom? Or the disruption is only going to last for like a day or two, and what he's disseminating to the classroom is going to last them for a lifetime. So let's just bring him in. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking, but all things being equal, I would just let him stay home and pay him. But things aren't equal. We don't have enough teachers. And again, it's an allegation. So we just have to wait and see.
Let us switch gear in a minute here, because I'm seeing my producer is saying to me, I have to tread carefully what you're saying about this, because we don't want.
And that's why I said it's an allegation. That's why I said
Right.
it's just an allegation. We don't know, and he deserves the right of innocence.
Yes.
So we can't pronounce him guilty because we are not in a position to do that. That's left up to the court and a jury. So all we can say is that this happened, and why is it that he's teaching? And we can speculate that, well, maybe they don't have enough teachers. Maybe she wants to stay home. Maybe they move her to another school. All of these things. So, and what we're saying right now, the things we're saying don't impact the case. Because we're not saying he's guilty. We're not saying that.
Yes.
In fact, we're saying the opposite. We're saying that, look, he's not guilty until he's proven guilty.
You're correct, Mr. Rattigan. Let us switch gear in a minute here, Mr. Rattigan. I see where the People's National Party is having a press conference. I don't know if we can take it live. If the producers at Roots FM would allow us to take it live, but if we can't, then we'll continue with our conversation here. Will,
Before we're gonna further, me have to big up the global base, Ed Robinson and Jonah Marie. Just so you know, your theme song, sir. They want their people calling them, asking them about getting your theme song.
Yes.
So did you hear?
Yes, I'm actually I'm at the radio station now.
Okay, all right.
Yes, and the managers here asked me to get the theme song.
Okay,
and
all right.
I must say good day to Jonah Marie and her husband Ed Robinson, who done a wonderful job. A very good job when it comes on to the Make We Talk song.
Well, I'm calling her, see if she'll answer the phone so we can big her up on
Yes.
live. But
Yes, indeed.
it's just ringing. Yes, yeah. We have Jonah Maria. She's listening.
Good morning, Jonah Marie. How you doing? This is Jeffrey Tavares.
Good morning, Jeffrey. How are you?
I am doing good. I was just saying to Will a while ago that your husband did a wonderful song, the Make We Talk song.
Thank you very much. And you know what? We did it for a wonderful man. So
Thank you very much.
Politician in the house.
Hold on. Don't let your head swell too much, because Will Rattigan, he's our attorney.
I know.
He is the head, right, of our legal team. So I can't big you up too much because my case. But Jeffrey, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to work with you, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Indeed.
Just as long as Will is okay with it, because he's
I'm okay. Big up the global base, Jonah Marie, Ed, and the rest of the team. Ryan Dangerous, Kevin, Millie.
And don't forget the president, please. Don't forget that.
All right, we can't forget the president. Okay. All right.
But I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in for sure.
All right, cool.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, Jeffrey. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Mrs. Jonah Marie Robinson of
Robinson,
the
yeah.
Reggae Global Radio. Well, let us, because I see where the PNP is having a press conference, and I haven't gotten the go-ahead from Roots as yet to really go live with this. So I don't think I'll do that because I don't want.
Do you know what the press conference is about?
It's about the recent polls.
Oh yeah, the poll taken in June.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see something here because I don't think my producers will be upset with me because I can do this. We need to get this.
And you had 16% said high cost of living, another 16% said unemployment, 6% said corruption. This is important because this is an issue that is causing a lot of public debate. It is one around which the members of the leader of the opposition and the members of the shadow cabinet have signed the Integrity Commission Code of Conduct. We have yet to see any member of the government signing it. And this is polling in the top 5 of the issues that are affecting the country, the issue of corruption. And it should be interesting for somebody to cost that and see exactly what it is robbing the country of. 3% of those persons said that unemployment among young people. And so that rounded off the top 5 issues that we got from the poll. The next question, we wanted to see how people viewed the leaders of the party. Now, we really wanted to get what we thought was the most useful information and feedback from the public as to whether or not they have a positive or a negative view of the leaders. Yes? Do they have a positive or a negative view of the leaders? And when we polled the question, Mark Golding polled at 53.2% of those persons who had a positive view of him, and Andrew Holness polled at 54.5% of those persons who had a positive view of him. Obviously, if you do the mathematics, the others had a negative view. So we thought that that was the most useful way to look at the information as to whether or not persons have a positive impression which may inform the way in which they would vote. And so that's how the question was put to the populace. We then ask about whether or not persons are of the impression that the governing party would require, is deserving of another term in office. And when we ask that question, the results are as follows. Right. So just using the key at the bottom, blue represents the persons that said no. As red represent the persons that said yes, and orange those who are unsure. So the question was whether or not the Jamaica Labour Party government deserved another term in office. And 47.6% of the populace said no. Go back to the slide, don't leave.
We're going to break away from a press conference of the People's National Party that is going on right now at Belmont Road. Wilfred Rattigan, before we take the commercial break at Roots FM, I see where they said that 47.6% of Jamaicans said they don't want the Labour Party in power. I'm not hearing you at all.
No, I said I'm surprised, and I'm surprised the number is not higher. Based on everything that we've seen over the past 7 years plus. I'm not questioning the polling methodology. It's just that I just think that based on everything that we're seeing, that the government, there are individuals in the government that I personally admire, right? There are people that I admire, not a lot. Let me just say that, not a lot, but there are people in the government that I generally admire. But as a whole, then again, if you just look at service delivery, just look at that service delivery. There's no way it would be 47%. It would be much higher. Another question they should have asked is, do you think the government is providing services that they promised? They should have asked that question in the poll. And then you ask that question, and then you cascade from that to the question that he just asked. Do they deserve? You ask, have they provided services that they promised in 2016 and 2020? And then you go from that to say, do you think then, based on your response, that they should get another term? That's how I would have done it. But it is what it is.
And because the Prime Minister of Jamaica promised us this also, and we haven't seen him say anything about it. Are you hearing me, Mr. Waltrican?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yes. This is what he said.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see conflict solver.
And when them win, them chew on poison upon you. Where did that come from?
That is the voice of the Prime Minister of Jamaica. He said in his first 100 days, he would give fixed election date. He said in his first 100 days, he's put in legislation for impeachment of parliamentarians. That has not been done. Nearly 1 million Jamaicans are hungry.
2 million Jamaicans go to bed every night. Malnutrition. When I say malnutrition, meaning that even if they go with a belly full, it's all junk food that they're filled up with. It's nothing nutritious. So I guess we could properly say that 2 million Jamaicans go to bed not properly fed. So that's what I'm saying. These are the things I'm saying why I'm saying that I'm surprised that the gap between the people who say that the government should have another term and the people who say the government should not have another term, it's not wider. I'm surprised that it's not wider because of the promises that he's made and the promises that he's not delivered on. And these are basic things. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how many times, at least once every 2 days, I get a call from somebody in Jamaica. And most of these people are strangers. And they're telling me that time's rough. They can't see the way out. They don't know where the next meal is coming from. And yet we have a government that's preaching prosperity. What prosperity and for whom? They tell you that, the companies are making vast amount of profits, and then you say, did that trickle down to the regular person on the street? No. And when they tell you about the unemployment rate, don't let them trick you. A lot of people stop looking for jobs, and those people are not counted. And a lot of the people working, they're working for minimum wage.
Hold on for me. We're going to take a quick commercial break on Roots 96.1 FM, but we on the Make We Talk YouTube channel will not take a commercial break. As soon as the commercial break is finished on Roots FM, they will rejoin us on the Make We Talk Jaffa Tavares Tuesdays, Make We Talk Tuesdays on Roots FM. Will Rattigan, go ahead. You're making a point.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
You're listening to Roots 96.1 FM. Owned and operated by the Mustard Seed communities, giving voice to the voiceless.
New Budget Supplies massive rice buster now on. Want to redo that kitchen? Retile that old floor? Stop that leaking roof? Make over the bathroom? It's now or never. White toilet from $14,999. 5-gallon paint from $6,599. Gypsum board $1,749. 50% off UPVC French windows. 10% off kitchen sinks, water tanks, and pumps. 195 Hackleburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Small business operators, are you looking for an affordable way to promote your business? Then look no further, as Roots 96.1 FM has the best advertising deals for you. Call or visit our office at 1 Mahole Drive, Kingston 11 and ask about our small business community package. Call or WhatsApp 1-876-574-0291 and benefit from this deal that will put your business on top of the map. Call now.
His constituency is getting out of control. How would you advise them, Mr. Rattigan?
I have no advice for them. I've given them plenty of advice over the years. They've largely ignored the advice, and even when they accepted some of it, they didn't know what they were doing, and so you reach a point where you say, look, you know what? These people, they have. Oh, by the way, don't forget the Minister of National Security came on the ambassador's platform, the town hall meeting with the diaspora, and he said, in essence, I don't need any help from you, from you people living overseas. If you want to come and give a speech, we'll accept the speech. If you want to send money, that's fine. But if you think you're going to come and work alongside us, no, it's not going to happen. So how do you give advice to somebody like that? You don't. You don't.
And a lot of people may be wondering where Wilfred Rattigan and Jeffrey Tavares get this from. We were privy to that conversation. As a matter of fact, it was the goodly gentleman, the founder of the Jamaican Diaspora Task, Crime Prevention Task Force, our good friend, the great Dr. Rupert Francis, who said something to the Minister of National Security, the Deputy Prime Minister, and the Deputy Minister of Defense. And his answer was to Mr. Francis that we do not need your help. Send us the money you want to have. But we don't want to advise nor nothing.
You know, I have a dear friend who was a mid-level manager in the JCF, and he had asked for some assistance from the diaspora. He had asked me for some assistance, and I got the assistance, and we were ready to provide the requested items. And then we found out that the Minister of National Security said, no, we cannot send things to police stations and policemen and women over here. If you want to do something like that, you have to send it through the embassy. And then the embassy will send it to the ministry. And then the ministry will decide where your gifts will go. So if you have it earmarked, for let's say, for example, the Santa Cruz police station, you had uniforms that they say, I want to give to these, you know, we've trumped up some money and we've purchased uniforms and we want to send it to them. He's saying, no. You don't tell us where to send those uniforms. You just send the uniforms. We will send them wherever they want, wherever we think they should go. And so the gift was never sent. It was never sent.
So hold on, Wilfred Rattigan. Is it that Minister Chang is saying to the people, if for instance, saying the people of St. Elizabeth, members of the community of St. Elizabeth who lives in the diaspora, want to give St. Elizabeth say 3 police cars. You have to send it to Twiddly Dum Dum.
You have to send it through the ministry. Sorry, you have to send it through the embassy. And you the presentation, look, I'm sending this to, and you can't earmark it. You have to say, I'm sending this to the ministry, to Jamaica, and then, or to a particular ministry. And then they'll send it. Like, for example, if you say, oh, I have 3 police cars here, right? You'd go to the embassy and say, I want to send these 3 police cars to the Ministry of National Security.
Mm-hmm.
You can't earmark and say, I want to send it to, the Santa Cruz police station, because there's no telling whether or not it will go there.
So
and they don't want that. So you'd have to send it. You'd have to send it through the embassy, and the embassy would then send it to the Ministry of National Security.
So who not pay for it through the embassy now, Mr. Rattigan? You have any idea who not pay for it, ship it and so forth?
No.
Sure to hell not me. Because if I'm going to give something for Negril, and I have to send it through to the ministry before, it don't make any sense. I pay for it to send it down then.
Oh, I see what you mean. If the ministry would take it and take care of all the expenses and send it down. Oh, I don't know. But the one thing I do know is that because you would want the cars to go to Santa Cruz police station, doesn't mean that they would actually end up going there.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't think I'll pay for it, because I want to go to Negril or Santa Cruz.
Okay.
Not to Harris Strong constituency, or Andrew Hona's constituency, or Mark Golding constituency.
Yeah, I have a piece of it's here. I have a piece of paper with like 40 solutions to and this is not even based on my assessment. This is just my deep dive assessment of the JCF. This is just based on things that anybody could observe. Anything that you could see, you could observe, right? Based on my experience.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's no point, because I'm wasting my time. They're not going to listen. They've made it abundantly clear over the past. You know what? In 2016, this ambassador, Audrey Marks, she took me aside and she said to me, listen, I want to work with you. I want you to help with coming up with a solution to the crime problem in Jamaica. And I said to her, I most certainly, would help you. The only problem was I wasn't retired yet. And I told her, I said, look, I've got a few more months before I retire. And if you can just hold off for a few more months, and keep in mind that they won the election in 2016.
Right.
And I said to her, if you can just hold on for a few more months, then I'd be willing to work with you. And I haven't heard from her since. And I know for a fact that people have reached out to her and said, listen, why don't you reach out to Mr. Rattigan? At least have a discussion with him. And this is way before I even started doing social media. Way years before. I haven't heard from her.
Wilfred Rattigan, if they have town hall meetings, and you and I, along with other members of, you, myself, Herb Nelson, and Lonesome, is on the program, I have such a big mouth. I'm the one who's always asking the questions. And if they don't allow us to ask follow-up questions, you think the ambassador is going to call you and say to you, Wilfred Rattigan, I've spoken to you before to help Jamaica with the crime pandemic we face. But the fact of the matter is, we cannot solve the crime if we can't solve the corruption situation that we face. The both PNP and JLP has their hand in the cookie jar. And not only them. You have members of civil society. You have other people who... Oh, Lord have mercy. I have Mr. Herb. Continue talking for me, Wilfred. I have Mr. Nelson calling me here.
Yeah. It's abundantly clear that they are going to do what they want to do. They really don't. They have no interest in getting help from sons and daughters of the soil. Because you see, when they can have somebody from the US, UK, Canada, people who are unfamiliar with Jamaica, the language, the culture, the history, the whole thing, the crime situation, they're satisfied with that, because once those people that land in Jamaica, and it'll take them a few days just to know where the bathroom is. Somebody like me land in Jamaica today, I could start working today. They don't want that, because all the secrets will be revealed. And it's a combination. I'm going to find out some of the secrets, and people are going to tell me some of the secrets. So overall, I'm going to know their secrets. They don't want that, right? They would much rather have somebody who's unfamiliar with everything, somebody who's ignorant, and then once you show up, they tell you, look over there, and you don't know any better, so you look, right? But when I get there, based on my experience, not only my former professional experience with our experience with my former employer, but also my experience as a Jamaican, somebody who has a fairly good idea. I wouldn't say I have a completely good idea, but I have a fairly good idea of what's going on. They wouldn't want me because nobody's going to dictate to me where my investigation should go. The investigation is going to dictate to me where I should go, not some.
I'm glad you touched on that point. We don't have a few minutes here live on Roots FM. I wanted to tell the Jamaican people what happened with the both of us. You and I was on a Zoom meeting, and I asked the Minister of the World Class Minister of Finance about the SSL. I asked him the question. I said, can you tell the people of Jamaica and the diaspora, is the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Jamaica investigating SSL? You remember what he said to us?
It go right round and beat round the primrose, take you on the primrose bush, and in the end, it moved from FBI to international assistance because it could not. You specifically asked him about the FBI. You didn't ask him about Kroll, the forensics firm. You didn't ask him about DEA, ATF, MI5, MI6. You didn't ask him. You just said the FBI, and he couldn't answer you. He could, and in fact, he admitted to himself that what he gave you was a long-winded answer. Well, what he gave you was a long-winded excuse. It wasn't an answer. It didn't answer your question.
Because you know why he couldn't answer the question, my fellow Jamaicans in Jamaica and around the world who is listening to the Mecque Talk program? The Minister of Finance, Dr. Nigel Clark, has been lying to the people of Jamaica about the SSL saga with the FBI. In any other modern democracy, they would have come on and give a news conference and saying it has gone this way and that way. Until this blessed day, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, nor the Deputy Prime Minister, nor the Minister, nor the Commissioner of Police have not said anything pertaining to the SSL saga.
Yeah. When did the SSL thing break? When did that news break?
Sometime this year. The early part of this year, I think, if I don't remember.
All right. Now, if you remember, in December of last year, the Prime Minister and the Police Commissioner, they came to Washington to talk about the transit or the shipment of guns from here to there and other criminal activity.
And to give a list of names.
Right. No, you would think that one of the things that they did was to form a relationship with law enforcement, U.S. law enforcement. And so when this SSL thing started, they could have easily picked up the phone and said, look, so and so, or just call the embassy and say so and so and so and so, right? And then they would have gotten some assistance. It tells me that they don't have the relationship that a country like Jamaica should have, given the geographical location of Jamaica and the transshipment nature of Jamaica and the violence in Jamaica, right? That they should have had a relationship established a long time ago. These people are sleeping at the wheel, and that's why Jamaica is careening over the precipice, because these people have no idea what they're doing, no idea. When you have to resort to a state of emergency, which is a violation of the Constitution, to say that you're going to try and bring peace and stability and safety and security to Jamaica, it tells me that you have no idea what you're doing. No idea.
And that is why I'm saying to Jamaicans, both home and abroad, they want to form a new constitution for the new republic. Jamaicans in Jamaica and around the world who has the right to vote, have a say in your new constitution. Do not, go ahead.
You know, the more I think about it, and I'm open to being fully corrected, but the more I think about it, we should not amend the Constitution. We shouldn't. We should leave the Constitution where it is. And we should start a new Constitution. Leave that old one where it is. Instead of going in there and trying to tinker with it and compose a brand new Constitution for Jamaica. That's what they should do. Because you start tinkering with it here, and then what they're going to realize is that you do some things here and it's going to affect this piece over here. You do some things over here, it's going to affect this piece over here. And so the time that you're spending trying to figure out what will happen if I do this and then this is affected, just start up. And remember, they're talking about Jamaicanizing the Constitution. I'm saying, don't do that. Establish, compose, build, write, and a new Jamaican Constitution. Forget about the one that we have.
And also, Wilfred, Will, if they're going to draft a new constitution, to forget about the old British Constitution, they have amended the Constitution to put in the Charter of Fundamental Rights. And I'm saying to them also, if you're going to draft a new one, make sure the Charter of Fundamental Rights is enshrined in the new Constitution. Right. And you can't have a Rocky Mead sit on the Constitutional Board who wants to get rid of the Charter of Fundamental Rights. It cannot be.
Look, all they have to do is take stock of all of the countries that have. Just take a look, just as an assessment. You don't have to follow anything, but just take a look at what some of these countries have done in terms of addressing the constitutional deficiencies. A lot of them, are the one that's most notable to me is South Africa, right? What they did was they come up with a new constitution. They didn't bother with the old one. The old one, they could have amended the old one, but they didn't do that, right? What they did was said the old one was for old times and for different people. Let's do one now that will be inclusive of everyone, and it's for this day going forward. And they came up with, and what they did, they got constitutional experts from all over the world. My lawyer was one of them who worked on that constitution, right? And just get it done. But that's why, and the Jamaican Constitution is not that exhaustive. It's only like, I think, 60 pages, something like that, 60-something pages. And just get a new constitution.
But what really surprised me is that constitution expert and a lawyer like Barnett wouldn't suggest to the people who is doing the constitution to just forget about it. It really surprised me that he wouldn't, because there are so many flaws in the old constitution. And there's so many old laws from the 18th centuries in the Constitution that you're correct. Get rid of it. Forget about it and draft a new one.
Yeah, abolish it and just start with a brand new one and get your opinions from everybody. Right? Because right now they're not even getting opinions from people regarding the amendments that they're making. And then you have somebody there like the Minister of Constitutional Reform, Minister Malahoo Ford. She was asked a simple question: what will be the powers of the new president? And she don't know. And this is something that they've been working on for such a long time. And she said, "Oh, that's a very good question. We have to get back to you on that." That's nonsense. That's unforgivable. She should be fired for just making such a statement.
And that is why the Jamaican people must have a say in their constitution. We need a president that is elected by the people, for the people, and of the people. We don't want a ceremonial president.
The other thing too is this: there shouldn't be no rush to do it, because these things are going to take time. You're going to have to explain, because most Jamaicans, I would venture to say, I would hazard a guess to say that most Jamaicans have not read the Constitution from cover to cover. Most Jamaicans haven't, right? Especially since they took civics out of the classroom too. So you'd say, look, let's educate the people what we're trying to do. Let's educate them about this Constitution, and let's educate them about the one that we're trying to draft. And then get input from them, from from faith-based organizations, community groups, civic-minded associations, business associations, so on and so on, and get a potpourri of opinions, and then you make a decision as to what you're going to do. But to me, because look, if you look at that Jamaica Constitution, right, the Governor General is written all over it. It's his power is not enshrined in just one section. He's all over the place, all over the show, right? So then you have to get rid of him. And then once you get rid of him, you have to decide now who will assume some of those powers, because I'm sure that all of the powers that he had, you won't give them to one person. So then now you have to figure out, okay, who are we going to give the power to sign off on laws? Who are we going to give the power to appoint people to certain positions? Who are we going to give the power to do this, that? So I'm saying, look, don't even waste calories on brain power doing that. Just start all over. Just start all over. And there are lots of constitutions out there that you can take and you can trim, you can tinker with, you can cut, you can do whatever to fit the Jamaican experience, the Jamaican life.
True.
You can do that. You don't have to reinvent the whole wheel. You know, the wheel has been invented already. What you might want to, you might come in and change a couple of the spokes in it and things like that. You may put on, where them have on, where they don't have a rubber tire on, you might want to put a rubber on the tire or something like that. But essentially, it's there already, right? But not the one that we have. It's nonsense.
Wilfred, right again, we're going to come off Roots FM soon, and I want you to stay with us because we're going to go over to the radio station to talk some more about constitution reform and within the diaspora also. But before we wrap up on Roots 96.1 FM, I want you to tell me, or to tell the people of Jamaica, what you think they should do in the sense, I know you said something about draft a new constitution and everything, but what you think they should demand of this present government in drafting the new constitution?
Well, there are lots of things that they could ask this government to do. The first thing I would do is to, first of all, have the opinion that we need to draft a brand new constitution, right? And then once you decide that, you just discard this one. Then you start talking about, like I said, some part of the old constitution you could put into this one wholesale, like the fundamental rights, right? You could put that inside there. But there are other things as well, like election dates.
Yes, fixed election dates.
Term limits.
Term limits, yes.
Right? Some of those things, you can just put them right inside it. So there'll be no question going forward when certain things will be happen. And that way, you don't have politicians playing all kinds of games with the election dates. You know, they wait until they have a favorable report, then they call a snap election or something like that. You don't have that. You know that, okay, this is the date you're going to have it. And then that's it. So whatever you're going to do, you need to do it because this date is not going to be changed, right? You need to have something inside there regarding how you're going to use a state of emergency to address crime. Because if the feeling is that, okay, when we have it, the crime rate goes down in that area, but then if there's a spike somewhere else,
that makes absolutely no sense.
How do you deal with it? So they have to think about all of these things. So and then in addition to all of the issues, because I don't think we have a comprehensive list of all the issues, or we could ever come up with one. So it would have to be a buy-in from all sectors of the society. But then you get qualified people to actually sit and discuss these issues. You get qualified people who can actually come out and highlight these issues at town hall meetings all over there. Jamaica is not a big place. All over the island, so that people, and educate people so that people know exactly what will be in their constitution. You bring back civics. So that from a tender age, students, they start understanding their constitution, they start understanding their government, they start understanding parliament, how it works and all that. They start understanding all of these things. Look, an educated population is for the betterment of the country.
Yes.
And if you start taking these things away and then keeping these ideas, keeping these things within your preserve, you know what they say? Information is power. And the people who don't have the information, they'll be powerless, as they are now. They're powerless. So whatever the government says, people just say, yeah, and they just go along with it.
Yes.
We have to stop that.
Yes. Wilfred Rat again, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. When we come off air, I have to give you a call. Because we're gonna rejoin the Make We Talk YouTube channel, but we're gonna go live on WZZP. WZPP rather.
How the people are gonna find that?
No, you hold on a minute. I still
Okay,
talk
sir.
to you. Because we're gonna go live on YouTube, also on my YouTube channel. I want to say thanks to my viewers and listeners on Roots 96.1 FM. Thanks to everyone who continue to support the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares. Yes, thank you, Reggae Global. It's WZPP. I hope my boss don't. It's WZPP. And we're going to be live on that pretty soon. Wilfred Radigan, don't go anywhere. We're gonna be joined by Herb Nelson Jr. and Chairman of the National Democratic Movement out of Jamaica, Mr. Michael Williams. Until you hear my voice again on Roots 96.1 FM, I'm Jeffrey Tavares saying so long. May God bless you. May God bless Jamaica land we love.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough,